Hi all, welcome to video 14 of genai using langchain and databricks playlist. In last video 13, we have seen what is prompt, right? That was theoretical session, but we have got a lot of ideas in what all ways we can, pass a prompt to LLM model or to the genai model, right? And in this video, we are going to understand the prompt templates in langchain. Okay, so basically, in last video, we have seen that LLM output, right, is very much dependent on the prompt. Okay, if user is giving wrong prompt, the output might also go wrong. Okay, and also if we keep a lot of control with the users as an application, if we develop any application, it is difficult to manage that application also. Okay, how? I'll let you know in a few minutes. Okay, so we cannot keep prompt fully dependent on the user. Okay, for example, like let's say if user is asking a question. Okay, let's say first prompt. Okay, what is capital of India? Okay, let's say I'm generating, there is some requirement I want to I want to get the capital of, let's say, 10 countries. Okay, so let's say first I have an application, let's say some 200 300 lines of code I have, and there I have used this prompt, let's say, 10 times. Okay, now I want to get the capital for 10 countries, right? So for first capital, right, for first requirement, I'll have to write this. Okay, let's say prompt is used 10 times in the application. Prompt is used 10 times in the application, right? Now uh, if I have to, let's say, get the capital of remaining 10 countries, right, what I'll have to do, I'll have to change at all 10 places. Okay, so 10 into 10, 100 changes, right, manually, which is definitely a risky. There can be manual errors also. Okay, and lot of dependency on user, right? Okay, so what we can do here, simply now from the this video name, right, you will be able to understand introduction to prompt template, right? Template as in we are creating some template which is fixed, okay, and has some variables. Okay, we will ask users to pass only those variables. Okay, now let's say, for example, this is what is capital of India. What I'll do, let's say I'm just writing a pseudo code here. Okay, no, I'm not going into the as it is code, okay, of prompt template. What I'll do, what is capital of, let me do one thing, let me pass a country here. Okay, what is the capital of country? Okay, so my user has to only pass the variable country, right? That's all. Okay, and that we can pass dynamically while running the pipeline also, right? So dependency on user we are removing, right? We are going towards the consistent output. Okay, so ideally, when we are building any GenAI application using LLM, right, we would expect all users, right? All users would get consistent output. Okay. Now, in this case, someone might say, "What is the capital of India?" Okay, explain in, let's say, short. Okay, but my prompt, I'm saying, "What is the capital of country?" Explain in, let's say, number of lines. Explain in dot lines, right? If user tells us explain in 5 lines, yes, it will explain in 5 lines. Explain in, let's say, so and so words, right? So this is how we are just creating one template. Okay, and we are asking users to pass the variables that they want to they want output for. Okay, this way we are removing the control, right? We are taking the control from the user, we are structuring the prompt, and we are making sure the output we are getting is going to be the consistent, right? Fine, so this is the concept. Prompt template, this is the concept. We are creating a reusable prompt with few variables. Okay, so what is prompt template? Let's say simple definition, it is the template okay, or we can call it a structure, right? We create a structure. The same way we define the schema while creating a data frame, right? You must have seen in our PySpark series, we define the schema, right? We define the schema as in we create some structure, we create some template, and we want our data to pass through that template and behave that way, right? Same we are doing here for in genai world, right? Using prompt template. So it is template or structure, we can call it a reusable, right? Reusable template or structure using the variables, right? Using the variables. Okay. Now the idea here is write the prompt once and change only input variable. Okay. Design the template once. Okay. Just change just change variables and reuse as many times as you want to, right? Use as many times as you want, right? Just let's say I'm storing this with the name template country, right? Template country. What I'll do, I'll just call this variable the n number of times I want to use, right? I'll just get this variable, this two, and the template where it is stored, and I can use it n number of times, right? So the idea is simple. Write the prompt once, change only input variable, and use as many times, reuse as many times as you want, right? Now we will understand few advantages of prompt template, right? Why it is useful. Okay, first let's say advantages. Okay, advantages of prompt template, right? First, very important, consistent structure, right? Very simple. We are making it consistent, we are making it fixed, right? Then reuse the same prompt again and again without actually redefining it, without actually redefining it. It is like let's say, if you know the python, right? It is like we are creating one function, right? And we are calling that function again and again in our code, right? So instead of writing some code in the function 10 times in my code, I'm just creating one function and calling that functionality the number of times I want to call, right? Same way, simple analogy, that is the prompt template. Okay. Now uh, without prompt template, we will end up, changing multiple places in our code, and that is risky, right? Thinking from production perspective. Okay. And the next advantage is less duplication, less duplication of code, right? What do I mean by less duplication of code? If I have some prompt, okay, let's say I am defining this prompt, okay, and this is defined, let's say 10 times in my application. Okay, instead of calling this prompt 10 times in my application, give me a second. Sorry, there was some disturbance from outside. Okay, instead of duplicating this prompt 10 times in my code, I'm just defining. So what I can say, define once and use n number of times, use n number of times. So there is less duplication of code, your code will remain clean, right? Very important thing if we think of production ready code, right? Now the next thing, easy to change the input variables dynamically, right? You have this prompt, you have this prompt template. What you have to do, you just have to get, let's say I'm getting list of variable once from user. Okay, once I'm getting a python dictionary where first element is country, second element is number of lines. Okay, I'm passing this dictionary dynamically to this template. Okay, So I'm getting all the details needed once, okay, doing no change in my code. My code is giving me all the needed outputs, right? So this way it is easy to change the input variables dynamically, okay? Same prompt, okay, you will get an output for some other country, but that is going to be consistent, okay? And this easy to change variables dynamically, it is very important. It is perfect for pipelines and APIs, right? The first thing we have already seen, the consistent structure, right? All users, right, all requests will follow the same structure, right? Same tone, same format, same instruction type, right? Which will avoid random answers. So why consistent structure? To avoid random answers from LLM. Okay, and because model is going to behave differently each time. If you want to make it consistent, you will have to make your prompt structured first, right? Fine. The next thing, very simple: reduce human errors. Reduce human errors. Okay. Now, if user fail to pass this variable, okay, my langchain is going to throw an error, right? So this way we can identify the user error before we are sending any prompt to LLM, right? With normal string we can make mistake, right? And these mistakes can silently pass through my application, making my application buggy, right? Full of bugs. Okay, that's why prompt template to reduce human errors. And the next we just have some to the avoid the let's say what I can say, exponential growth of bugs in the application, right? If there is some issue in prompt template, you will change at one place, that's all. You are not going to change at multiple places, right? That is called clean code, that is called production ready code, right? Now this prompt template, okay, works best with chains in langchain, right? I think in the previous code, I think we have used somewhere chains, right? Let me see if I see the chain somewhere. Okay, not here. I don't know if we have used chain somewhere. No. Okay. So what is chain in langchain? Chain is basically you can make it like workflow, right? You can make it like a job. Okay, you have 3 to 4 tasks to do. Okay, you can do it, you can chain it in one line. Okay, so chains definitely we are going to see in our upcoming videos, but this prompt template works best with chains in langchain. Okay, next thing, very simple advantage, easier code maintenance, already we have discussed, right? If you find any issues in the code, you don't have to change at multiple places. One change once at one place and your code is ready to run, ready to run. Okay, and I think that's next one we already have seen, cleaner and more readable code, right? Your code is going to be very clean and we're going to be fully readable, right? And it is easier. So basically, see, it is very important if you are working as a team, okay, you are working on some application development, okay, you complete that development and you go out of that project or you move somewhere else for some other assignment, okay, might be within your organization or outside of your organization, and someone else comes in, okay, and they try to debug your code. Okay, now if your code is like messy, right, lot of duplications in the code, it becomes very hard for that engineer, right, to debug your code. So this prompt template is one of the one of, I can say, the application or one of the tool using which we can keep our code clean, and it is very easy for code review also, right? Fine. So that's all. That this is again a theoretical session, right? Sorry, I told you little in the end, right? So that you just focus. Okay. Conceptually, we have understood what is the prompt template, right? Reusable template or structure using the variables. Okay. And we design it once, just change the variables and reuse as many times as we want to reuse, right? So that is about prompt template. In the next video, what we are going to do, we are going to do hands-on for prompt template. Okay, so we'll write the code. Okay, we will, we will implement the chains also there. I'll just give you a brief introduction to chains in details. We will understand as this series is progressing, right? But in next video we are going to understand hands-on. Okay, and for that hands-on we are doing all the hands-on databricks free edition, right? It is on YouTube, free of cost and no learning charges also, right? So be ready for the hands-on in next session. That's all for this video. I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for all your support.